everybody, and welcome to my last weekly vlog. It's been a while since I've uploaded because the last week in Phoenix was just so packed and I didn't get to editing, and as I am filming this I have been home for 2 weeks and I've just been getting used to everything, and at this point it kind of feels like I've never left. But yeah, there's just this this part of my journey that you haven't seen yet that was very, very impressive and that I do really want to share with you. So let's get straight into it. So my last vlog ended on Wednesday. So I'm just gonna pick it up from Thursday, and I'm gonna be short about this. I did nothing. I just got into some things I needed to do for my research project. I contacted the place that I'm going to do my last internship at, and kind of asked them about the hours and if they knew anything about next year yet. So that day was mostly just for doing some much needed administrative work. And then I spent the night just watching Friends in bed. So that was really nice as well. Just having a day to relax and kind of get the mental to-do list out of the way. So yeah, on Friday, which was my last day in Los Angeles, I wanted to do something fun. But I didn't really have anyone to go with because my room was packed with people that were all leaving on Friday morning. And I didn't really meet any other people in the hostel that were staying longer than Friday morning. So yeah, I kind of just took off on my own. And I went to a shopping street in Venice. And it had loads of cute little shops, and it was just a really nice area to really just snoop around and see what the stores had to offer. So that was really fun. I really had a good time there. And then from there, I got a scooter with the Uber app. It's kind of like a little scooter that's like it has it's hand controlled, so you can adjust the speed with your thumbs, like on like a little pedal. And it's so fun. Like, you go really fast. It goes about like 15 miles an hour, I think. I don't know how much in kilometers an hour that is. I'll put it on screen right here. But yeah, it went pretty fast, and I went to Marina del Rey, which is a place where a lot of ships gather, and it was just really nice. The weather was pretty great, so I just had a stroll around there, and then I went back to the hostel, cooked some dinner. Yeah, and that was basically it for Friday. So let me show you what Friday looked like. Nice last day, if you ask me. So yeah, then on Saturday I checked out of the hostel and it was time to go to my final stop, which was Phoenix. So I got on the Greyhound in Los Angeles. The same way I got there, went to the same Greyhound station, and a bus took me straight from Los Angeles to Phoenix. We had 3 stops along the way, which was great just to stretch my legs a little. 8 hours is a long time to be stuck on a bus. But luckily we had a really friendly driver, and the views on the way to Arizona were absolutely gorgeous. I was just watching friends, and every time I looked up there was this new set of mountains to look at. And it was just so great. It was a really, really nice trip. And then I got to Phoenix pretty late at night. I think it was about 8 p.m. I still had to have dinner. I still had to get groceries and everything. So I was in a little bit of a rush to get to a supermarket and to just get some stuff. But everything worked out in the end. And I got to my Airbnb in Tempe at around 9:15. My host wasn't there, so it was just me, and I just had a couple hours to settle down before going to bed. Another thing I want to mention, I said Tempe all the time, but it was Tempe. So then Sunday was my first day in Tempe, and I was just looking up some things I could possibly do in the area. So I came across this mall, and it was called Arizona Mills, and I saw a lot of people saying that it was their favorite mill in the whole of Arizona. So I set my expectations pretty high, and I went there on Sunday. And it didn't disappoint. It was really nice. It was a really nice mall. It was not just clothes or just shoes. It was just a good mixture of all kinds of stores. And I just spent the whole of my afternoon in the Arizona Mills. Then I went back to my Airbnb, cooked some dinner, and I fell asleep pretty early. I couldn't really sleep on the Greyhound bus for some reason. So yeah, I was pretty tired and I went to sleep pretty early. On Monday, I went by this place called Lost Our Home Pet Rescue, and yeah, just to see if I could do some work there. I'd seen online that it was a pretty good volunteer opportunity, so I decided to head on down there and ask if I could do anything, and I could. So I spent a couple hours there just cleaning up inside. I didn't take my phone though, because I forgot to mention this, but on Saturday, right before I got on the Greyhound bus, I dropped my phone and it was all messed up. Like, the inside was just messed up. There was like pink all over my screen, and there was like to the side there was like a black bar that just didn't work anymore. So I kind of left my phone at home as much as I could, to make sure I didn't overuse it, and just to make sure I could still take pictures and videos when I got to the Grand Canyon, because that was like the highlight of my trip. Like, I couldn't imagine not having a phone to capture it all. But yeah, I left my phone at home as much as I could, so I don't really have a lot of footage from this week either, but I'll just roll with it. So yeah, I went there to clean up. And they said I was welcome to come in some other days too if I wanted to, since I was not really working specifically with the animals and such. I could just go in and help them clean the bowls and things like that. So yeah, I spent my Monday morning there, and then Monday afternoon I went to downtown Tempe, and it's basically just one pretty long street with all kinds of shops. And it was really nice to be there because it was, the weather was great. It was really hot, but the weather was great. And yeah, I just spent my afternoon there, and I got some ice cream and things like that. So yeah, that was all pretty nice. So yeah, that was my Monday basically. on Tuesday, I went down to Loster Home again to clean the bowls and such, like I said before. Then in the afternoon, I went to Kiwanis Park, which was a park not too far from where I was staying. So I just took a bus there, and I just hung around in the park for a little bit. It was a pretty nice park. Not too bad at all. There were barely any people there though, which was pretty weird because the weather was so great. Like, the sun was out, it was a little windy, so the breeze was like soft on your skin and it just cooled you down a little bit. And I thought it was perfect weather to just sit in the park. But apparently not many people agreed with me. But yeah, I spent my afternoon there, and when I was done lounging there at about 3 p.m. I went to a little area with a bookstore that was pretty popular in Tempe. So I just spent my time there. There were just so many different kinds of books, and I really liked just going around and seeing what they had to offer. I didn't take any books though because my bag was full, like to the brim. So I decided not to take any books home. After that, I went to Trader Joe's and I got some groceries for the rest of the week. And then I went home, cooked some dinner, and watched the sunset down by Tempe Town Lake. I walked there from my Airbnb, which was quite a little walk. I believe it was like 2.5 kilometers, something like that. So it was a nice walk up and down. That was great too. It was really beautiful. I have some footage of that, so I'll just show you quickly what my Tuesday looked like. And then on Wednesday was the day it was all gonna happen, the thing I looked forward to the most, probably for my whole trip, besides Disneyland, which was the Grand Canyon and Sedona. I'm just so excited thinking back to it because it was like you were looking at a backdrop.
If you've seen it in real life, you'll understand what I mean, but it's like I don't have the words to describe how gorgeous, how surreal it was to look at the Grand Canyon, and just, it's like, it's within reach, you're touching the stones, and it still looks like you're looking at some kind of photograph or a painting, and it's just, it was so crazy. It was.
Okay, so let me just tell you a summarized version of the day, because I could talk about this for hours. But a little summary of the day. Pretty early in the morning, I went to a hotel where I got picked up with a van, and there were like 10 other people in there. And we drove down to a Navajo reservation together. So we got into contact with some Native Americans, which was really nice. I got a bracelet from there. They hand make all their stuff. I just think it's so pretty. Like, I've been wearing it basically every day. I just took it off this morning to shower. But yeah, this is all handmade. And that's basically what their whole economy is. They have this one place called the Trading Post, where they do like all their trading. So there was a restaurant there, and there are some souvenir shops, and that's basically like the central point of where they sell most of their stuff. And that's basically what they live off of. And that area where the Trading Post is pretty developed. So that is like, it's all pretty modern. Like, there is electricity, running water, all things like that. But when we went down a little further into the reservation, they were really, really back to basic. Like, they didn't have anything that we are used to in this modern world of ours. So that was a pretty eye-opening experience. I didn't really get to talk to any of the people there, but it was cool to drive through that area nevertheless. So then the tour continued, and we drove to the Grand Canyon. We had a couple stops there, and like I said, it was just, oh my gosh, it was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. It's honestly the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. Like, I can't think of something I've seen that was more impressive or grand or whatever than the Grand Canyon. So yeah, I'm just gonna show you the videos that I took there because my phone was still working. Hooray. I'm just gonna show you the videos and enjoy. Like I said, it looks like an absolute backdrop. It's just so crazy. So crazy. But that wasn't all, because when we were done at the Grand Canyon, we went to Sedona. And Sedona is basically this landscape that has loads of red rocks. Now, fun fact, these rocks are red because there is so much iron in the ground that the rocks are basically rusting because they take in water from the soil. And then because there's so much iron in it, it just kind of sticks to the rock, and it starts rusting, which I thought was really cool. But that aside, it was so beautiful to be there. We were supposed to stop there on the way to the Grand Canyon, but because it took a long time, because we were in a traffic jam, our guide was like, you know what, we're gonna turn around, and on the way back, we're just gonna drive through the whole of Sedona. So instead of getting just this one glimpse of Sedona, we got the full experience on the way back, which was really, really cool. So I'll just show you Sedona real quick. Was beautiful. And now there was just one day left before my adventure came to an end, and that was Thursday. And on Thursday I decided to visit a desert botanical garden that I'd seen on a site that people were very enthusiastic about. So I went down there, and it was really cool. It was a really, really nice garden, and I really enjoyed walking around there. And when I was done there, I went down to a place called Hole in the Rock, which is pretty self-explanatory, because there is this giant rock that has, now brace yourselves, a hole in it. So I went down there to find out that there really, in fact, was a hole in the rock. So that was nice to see. I didn't hike up there because I didn't have any food, and I was basically sliding into this state of delusion because I was so hungry. So then I went to a little restaurant. I just got an Uber to a little restaurant not too far from my Airbnb, and had my last little dinner date with myself. just to kind of close it off and to say goodbye to American food and American people, American tips. The tips were so crazy. Yeah, so it was just a really good last night. When I got home, I just started packing everything, and the next morning I left for the airport pretty early. And then I got on my flight back home. First to Seattle, then from Seattle to Frankfurt, and then the last stop from Frankfurt to Amsterdam. And so on Saturday, May 18th, I got home. And yeah, I've been a little sad about leaving the States, but also very happy about coming back. But I'm not going to be telling you too much, because to end this chapter, I asked people on my Instagram to send in some questions, and I'm going to record a Q&A, question and answer, about my stay in the United States, just to kind of conclude everything and answer any questions people might have about traveling or just my journey in general. So yeah, you'll see that video up here. For now, I'm going to leave it at this. This was, again, a pretty long video. I'm so sorry, but there was just a lot to talk about since I really had the time to digest everything. But yeah, I just, one more time, want to wish you a very happy week. And hopefully I'll see you at my next and very, very last video, which is the Q&A. I'm not sure when I'm going to upload, but you'll see me appear in your feeds. So one more travel quote of the week, and hopefully I'll see you next time. Bye!